Support for SportsPage is provided by First Central Bank, full-service banking from 6 locations in Warrensburg, Holden, Higginsville, and Odessa. More information is available on their Facebook page or at the website firstcentral.net. Member FDIC. By the University Store. The University Store is the official headquarters for Mules and Jennies emblem clothing, gifts, and UCM memorabilia. Books, office supplies, art supplies, and more are available at the University Store, located on the lower floor of the Elliott Union on the UCM campus in Warrensburg. And promotional support for SportsPage is provided by 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics. The Central Missouri SportsPage is back for another season. And coming up next on the 2013-2014 debut, we'll chat with Mules football coach Jim Svoboda. The Mules are in the midst of the toughest opening 2 weeks in all of NCAA Division II football. We'll also talk UCM volleyball with the head coach of the 7th-ranked Jennies, Piontek. His team is 4-0 and hosting 5 matches this weekend. In our SportsPage Spotlights, we'll take a look at the ongoing Walton Stadium expansion project and the Mules for Life fundraising campaign that goes along with it. We'll also bring you the sights and sounds from another successful athletic auction to kick off the year. So stay tuned. An action-packed hour of Mules and Jennies sports comes your way next as we kick off a new season and a new look for SportsPage. Hello again, everybody, and thanks for watching the season debut of the University of Central Missouri SportsPage. I'm Sean Jones, and joining me to kick off a new season of SportsPage is Mules football coach Jim Svoboda. Coach Svoboda, welcome back.
Sean.
Let's talk about this schedule. You know, I remember the days when college football teams at our level started with a cupcake or two. We had number 6 Missouri Western to start the year, on the road at number 3 Northwest Missouri this coming week. Toughest opening 2 weeks in all of Division II football for your team. That's quite a challenge.
It is a challenge, and with the expansion of the conference, we just got that's the luck of the draw, and things change a little bit next year. But the way we look at it, you got to play the good teams at some point, and right out of the gate, we're going to get tested and are being tested.
Well, the opening 2 weeks are a bit more of a challenge when you consider the fact that 23 of the 44 players in your 2 deep, the guys that are the starters and the backups, are freshmen or sophomores. So that makes it more challenging. But when we talk about freshmen and sophomores, the irony is you've actually got some young guys, a lot of them, that do have some experience.
We do have a lot of players that have some playing time and have been in big games before and made plays. Last year was actually the year where we had a lot of kids that scored their first touchdown, started their first game, that type of thing.
You had a lot of competition for the starting quarterback position in your fall camp, and junior Hayden Hawk won the spot. Solid debut, 28 for 42 passing, 322 yards, 2 TDs, a big fourth quarter drive, 3 fourth down conversions. Give us your thoughts on his debut performance and the attributes that he possesses that allowed him to win a very competitive battle for the starting position.
Right. Well, I was impressed with his poise throughout the game. Hayden is a kid that played big-time high school football in Texas. So, crowds and sort of pressure and those kinds of things are something that he got accustomed to, and he threw a lot of passes in high school too. And so, we opened up the competition, and the things he brings to the table is he's got a very quick release. He throws a nice tight ball. He's very accurate, and he combined that with making better decisions as he got a little more experience.
Well, Thursday night's opener was Get the Red Out. It was also Salute to the Missouri National Guard, and the Red came out, 10,377 in attendance, Coach. A great atmosphere, as usual, here in Warrensburg to kick off a season.
Yeah, our kids love it. Coaches love it. It's one of the best atmospheres in Division II, and it's a big recruiting pitch for us as well, and our kids are excited about it.
Well, there you see the highlights from a gorgeous night at Walton Stadium, Kennedy Field to kick off the season. There's LaVance Taylor, a guy that's just a junior, but boy, he's a very experienced player.
He is, and a very exciting player, very explosive.
Got off to a good start in this game. There you see Ramon Hunter. He has really come to play this season. We knew that going into the first game because he had a great fall camp.
He did. He's really dedicated himself and has become quite a player for us.
There you see Hayden Hawk in his debut, his first snap since high school in 2010. And one of the great things about your offense, Coach, there you see Ron Reed Lloyd, 62 catches last year. Hayden's got a lot of guys to throw it to.
He does, and I think he threw to 8 different guys in the game.
And that's about normal for your team, 8-9 guys a game. There you see Levance Taylor running early. Good first quarter for the Mules. Unfortunately, Levance hurt himself a little bit, wasn't able to come back and play, so that meant you had to go down the line to a true freshman. Here we see Anthony Kirkwood catch a pass from Hayden Hawk, and how about the yards after the catch for the 73-yard TD? Yeah,
great pass by Hayden, great protection, and AK really had good balance on that play.
And Kirkwood, a junior, a guy who originally was a walk-on onto the program. You see there the extra point was no good. Special teams were a struggle in this opener. Again, all teams kind of struggling out of the gate in certain areas. Tough to play a tough team in game one. There you see Hayden Hawk with a keeper on his own read and then a handoff up the middle to Levance. Good news is you're going to get Levance back, but in this game we saw a lot of Ray Harris.
We did, and Ray's first start for us really did some good things. He's an excellent receiver, as you see right there, out of the backfield, and pretty versatile kid.
Fort Zumwalt West kid, true freshman though, so he's learning as he goes, and certainly battled hard and a lot of potential for Ray Harris. There's some play action out in the flat. Again, Kirkwood very speedy out of the slot. Great to see Anthony have a great starting game to the season. And there you see Travis Partridge, the All-American quarterback for Missouri Western, 6'4", 230, Coach. That's a tough assignment, one we don't often get with a QB that big.
230 is a little light. He's a good-sized kid.
And there you see a botched hold, it appears, and the Mules trying to scoop that up for the TD, but the Mules hold. And again, Coach, a lot of special teams mistakes in this game from both teams, to be honest. I thought it was one of those deals where the teams don't get a lot of time now to prepare when they get to campus a week before school starts, and so it seemed to me both teams a little sluggish in that area.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We did make some plays, but we definitely have to be sharper in that area.
And the Mules had gotten a pick six earlier from Tevin Teamer, a redshirt freshman. Then they forced a fumble from Travis Partridge as we're taking a look at second half highlights here. So the Mules are on the move, and you talk about some poise here. On this drive, Coach, Hayden Hawk, 3 different fourth down conversions for him and a very young offense. That was Ray Harris, a freshman, getting one of those first downs.
It's really one of the bright spots, one of the exciting things for me as a head coach is we actually had 8 kids that started their first game on that drive.
We missed the touchdown, but Cullen Rosine there in the front corner caught it, gave the Mules the lead with a little over 4 minutes to play. But Missouri Western was able to come back and score. It was a difficult finish for the Mules, kind of a learning deal. You don't ever like to learn after a loss, but a lot of young guys, and there's Western on the move on the final drive after the Mules had taken that lead on that long 5+ minute drive orchestrated by Hawk and capped off Hawk to Rosine, 15 yards on 4th and 5, but Western scores. All-American to All-American with 14 seconds left. This is a pro UCM show, so we're not going to show that, but the Mules fall short in this one by a final count of 26-23 against the defending conference champions, a team that won the league last year, went 12-2, advanced to the national quarterfinals, and still saw some pretty positive performances from the Mules. So, Coach Svoboda, that is one of those games that obviously hurts a great deal for you, your players, everybody associated with the program. Tough assignment to open with the number 6 team in the country and the defending league champs. The positive, though, truly is we went toe-to-toe with them. That was not the case a year ago in St. Joe. Here at home, toe-to-toe with them and clear up some mistakes, and we're going to be a team that can play with the team that won the league a year ago.
Well, clearly it wasn't an effort deal. Our kids really played hard, and that's what makes a loss like that really difficult. And the other thing is, too, we have to be honest with ourselves, is that their quarterback made some plays down the stretch, and you got to give him credit. But the fact is, if there's certain things that don't happen on our part, we win that football game. And so those are the things we got to fix. Strangely,
I guess, in a 26-23 loss, I guess a positive from a coaching standpoint is I think you talk about things being a team loss. If a guy misses a play, say, oh, it's on the whole team. But this truly was a case where I think there's a lot of guys that played in that game that could say, if I did this better, we would have won that game. And with the way your kids are wired, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that accountability to those kids means they're going to work hard, they're going to get with you, watch extra film, and get better each week.
Well, there's no question that there were some hurting individuals in that locker room, and some a little bit more than others because of of those situations. And you don't want to dwell on it and hammer on the obvious, but those are things that we've been stressing really since last January, and we're just going to keep slugging, keep growing, and stay positive, and eventually they'll break through.
No pressure, but this is your 4th year as our head coach, and your teams have shown the propensity so far through 3 years to improve greatly from week 1 to week 2. It happened last year when we went Western, Northwest. What needs to happen this week in order for your team to take a quantum leap heading into that game in Maryville?
Well, just some of the fundamental things. One thing I was pleased with on offense is the thing that we've been stressing for quite a while now, and that's getting the play off to a good start, not having those pre-snap penalties. We did a good job in that area. We also did a good job in the takeaway margin. Usually when you're ahead in that game, in that area, you got a chance to win the football game. So we're good there. I don't know if we'll know for sure. Until we get into that situation down the stretch, and being able to perform, and I think knowing our guys and their dedication and their all-in attitude, I would be surprised if they don't come out swinging.
We often talk about the resiliency of youth. Did the guys bounce back quickly or quick enough to get ready for another tough challenge and another great opportunity this Saturday?
Well, that's the great thing about football. You got the opponent coming up whether you like it or not, and you take 24 hours, whether you're celebrating or whether you're brooding over a loss, and we'd be sensitive to that as coaches and keep them busy. Get through that game film as soon as possible from the previous week and get on to the next opponent.
Not to put you on the spot, but any guys or group of guys that after you watched the film, you were really impressed and said, "Hey, I knew this guy was going to be a player for us," or "These guys were going to really be players," but that's really impressive for week 1.
I'll tell you what, just in general, I thought our defense really played well. I thought they were very physical. In particular, I thought our secondary really did a great job of separating guys from balls and timing up those hits. It's a tough time to play safety at any level of football right now with some of the new rules, and they did it just right. They were physical, jarred some balls loose, did it below the head like the rules require. So that group was very impressive. And I thought our passing game really did a nice job too, pretty efficient.
Well, this Saturday we travel to Maryville to take on the number 3 team in the nation, the 6th-ranked Northwest Missouri State Bearcats, or number 3-ranked rather. Those folks will remind us that we haven't been up there for a regular season game since '09. I always like to remind them we haven't played Fort Hays State at home since 2009. We've taken that 5.5-hour jaunt on many occasions. They'll be flying high, so how do you prepare your guys for that emotional onslaught at Bearcat Stadium?
Well, you talk about it, obviously. Try to create, that atmosphere in their mind and know what it's going to be like. And, when you're in their situation, that's something that you depend on to a certain extent. But our guys, they play in a pretty good environment at home. And so a lot of these guys have been in that type of environment. They had some success last year. That plays into it. So we try to turn it into a positive. It's one of the 3 or 4 or 5 probably best venues to play a college football game.
And I think it's kind of an anomaly in Division II. In Division II, you have places like Central Missouri, like Pittsburgh State, like Northwest, where you're going to play in front of 8, 9, 10,000 people, a raucous atmosphere. You may go other places and have to play with the same level of intensity and play in front of 1,000 or 900 people. I'd rather go play in an environment like Northwest. I'd rather go play where the energy is high in the stadium, and I'm sure your guys feel that same way.
They totally feel the same way, and that is a challenge. And what a lot of people don't realize, I coached FCS football for a number of years, and those venues that you mentioned, ours and Northwest and Pitt, get far better crowds than 80-90% of those places as well.
And, of course, a very challenging league, the MIAA. Nobody has as tough of a challenge as we do to start the season. But, considering the opponent you played in the first game, considering the youth of this team, I know despite the heartbreak, there were a lot of positive takeaways for you.
There were. And, the main thing is the effort and the energy that the kids played with. And what you really got to be careful about is they put so much into it, and then when it's yanked away suddenly like that at the end, that's a gut punch. And so it's really a test, and it's all about getting back up, and what happens to you after something negative. how you react to it, not more than what happened. And so those are the things that we talk about. I've seen real positive things out of our kids, and they love the game. You know, they got another chance to play a game.
97 kids on this roster this season, straight from the high school ranks. So you're building it with 4- and 5-year players. 4- and 5-year players have the chance to learn from losses. A lot of times if you have a kid who's a 1-year transfer or a 2-year transfer, that goes pretty quickly, and maybe it doesn't resonate with them as much. With a group of young kids who know the rivalries, they know the league because they're going to be here for 4 or 5 years, they might be a little more invested, and that's where maybe a game like this past week will resonate with them and help them get better.
I think so, and you know, building it from the high school ranks, I think that it does mean more to them. You know, these kids know about the MIAA, most of the kids that we have on our roster now, so they're well aware of the quality of football, and they take a lot of pride in it. And you know, with a kid that transfers, there's less of that. You know, they want to come in and play, and it's a different sort of motivation. And so you know, I feel good about where we're at, and even some of the transfers have really bought in.
Coach Jim Svoboda here talking on Sports Page about this coming week. It's Northwest Missouri, ranked 3rd in the nation up at Bearcat Stadium, and obviously you spent some time in Maryville, and we've broken that down quite a bit over the course of the last few years. Is it to the point now, with respect to, I know your appreciation for your time there and the people there, but is it to a point where it's just another game for you and your staff members that were a part of that program at one point?
Well, it's been a decade, and you know, to say it's just another game, I don't know if we're quite there yet, just because of where they're at with their program and the history of their program. And one of the things that we discuss with our players quite a bit, and this is really the challenge for them, is that right now they don't have the luxury of walking down a hallway and seeing a national championship trophy and a bunch of conference championship trophies, and a couple of the teams in the league do. And so, you know, they're climbing the hill right now, and so it's extra challenging. But how many teams get an opportunity to have that challenge and to really be in a position where they can do that? And we believe we can, and we're going to keep slugging until we get there.
You know, speaking of the things that it takes to get to that level, right now your locker room is in the physical plant building north of the stadium. That is being torn down, that whole building, to make way for a new mixed-use residential facility on the north end of the stadium. Because of that, construction is ongoing this season underneath Walton Stadium to give you a new locker room, weight room, team meeting room. Great campus to recruit to, you've always said that, but our football facilities were near the bottom of the league. What does that do for your program, for those 97 high school kids in the program, to see the video board go up last year and now this year to see, as of today, concrete being poured underneath that stadium to give them some facilities that will put them at the top of the league?
Well, it just adds validity to what you've been selling. You know, we've been talking about that since we got here. You and the rest of the administration really made that happen, and so it's a pride factor. You know, sometimes you bring kids in to visit. You know, your facilities. We all know that, you know, a 45-pound plate in a weight room is going to weigh the same no matter what kind of weight room it's in. But it sends a message about the overall commitment to the program and the athletic program. And besides that, these kids spend a lot of time in the off season. They deserve a nice facility. And
we're going to see more about that in a minute with the Mules for Life spotlight coming up here on Sports Page. But certainly, you know, this whole side of campus, the west side of campus, is going to change with that beautiful dorm, that mixed-use residential facility on the north end overlooking the stadium, and you've got the businesses that will be located underneath it, and then in addition, the underneath of the stadium, the whole quadrant of campus is going to come alive, which is a good thing because we're at 12,300 students at this campus right now, an all-time high. And the neat thing is when others around us, Jim, may be having some struggles due to leadership, and I credit Dr. Ambrose for that, we're going this way, and that's huge.
How cool is that? You know, for 4, 5, 6 years, everybody's been talking about how tough times there are, and Central's growing. I think one of 2 campuses in the state of Missouri that are growing. Dr. Ambrose had a vision for that quadrant of campus over there almost as soon as he got here. It was for him, it was one of the entry points to campus that was really missing. Obviously, if you get past all the other stuff, you get to our stadium. That's pretty cool, but you had to get past it first. So. You know, he's had a vision for that. You know, the initial makings for the stadium underneath the stadium were there, so that was the structure was there, and so it's just a matter of finishing it.
No surprise, you look good in HD. Let's go get Northwest this week. Thanks for the visit.
Sean.
Coming up next here on Sports Page, we'll take a look at the Walton Stadium expansion project and the Mules for Life fundraising project that goes along with it. That spotlight is next, right here on Sports Page.
We need to put on a show.
I do my best to find some kind of glow.
Are you good?
I'm good.
I'm giving it some heart and soul now. From the darkest grace, the sunburst, clouds break. Yeah, we see that fire from the streets of Babylon.
Welcome back, Mr. Biggs.
To the road that we've been on.
Unbelievable.
Kaleidoscope claims another. This is life in color. Today feels like no other. The darkest grace, the sunburst clouds break. This is life in color. Today feels like no other. The darkest grace, the sunburst clouds break. Whoa. This is life in motion, and just when I couldn't run this race anymore, the sunburst clouds break. This is life in color.
The American people have named PBS
The most trusted source of news.
and public affairs, and the most unbiased institution in America.
For the 10th year
In a row.
Trust.
The American people have spoken.
Thank you.
Stay tuned to KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
And welcome back to Sports Page here on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. Mules football has 97 players on their roster straight from the high school ranks. When one of these prospective student-athletes visits UCM, they're in all the rec center, the library, the union, Ward Edwards, and the multiple degree offerings and friendly faculty of UCM. But the weight room for football has been small, and the locker room significantly outdated. It's safe to say the facilities for the football team were not a reason these 97 high school players chose UCM. But all of that is about to change. The face of the entire west side of campus is about to change for the better with a beautiful new mixed-use residential building on the north end of the stadium and new facilities for Mules football underneath the stadium. In this segment, we shine the spotlight on the Walton Stadium expansion project and the Mules for Life fundraising initiative to give Mules football the facilities they need to compete in the rugged MIAA.
The whole phase one of Mules for Life project is a finishing of the underneath the stadium. It was brought about by the movement of the FPO building to the east side of campus over where Southeast School is. And so we with the demolition of that to build a new residence hall, the locker room had to be relocated. So the locker room will be underneath the stadium. And with that, we're going to add a new 5,000 square foot weight room, training facility, as well as a new team room, theater style team meeting room, which will all be great assets for the Mules football program.
There are several different phases that are going into this particular project. Obviously the general services building will be demolished. That will make room for a brand new mixed use facility that will house about 320 beds, as well as some underneath retail, street level retail that will really change the shape and the nature of the northwest corner of campus. And as part of this overall construction project, the locker rooms for the football team are currently housed and the General Services Building now will be underneath the stadium for great proximity for game day.
The project should be completed by January 1. That's our timeline, so that it should be done for the Mules football program to recruit to this next spring, as we're bringing student athletes, prospective student athletes, to campus in January and February. So it'll be a great addition to the program, but it's pretty fast track. I mean, they're moving pretty fast this fall to have that project done by January 1, but it has to move that quickly to enable to do the demolition of the physical plant, as well as begins construction on the new residence hall.
It's a comprehensive project, and underneath the stadium is the first phase of the project. But in terms of the stadium itself, we're going to have a 5,000 square foot weight room. We're going to have a team room that seats about 130 people. We're also going to have a brand new locker room facility, which will be large enough for about 130 players. So we're excited about it, something that we've really needed here for a long time, something that's been talked about for a long time, and now Dr. Ambrose and Jerry Hughes and the rest of the administration are making it happen.
This is going to be fast and furious, and we need those that are interested to step up right now, because there could be an opportunity to where we have 8 other individuals that have decided on the project, and the 9th pledge that might come through, there will not be enough room on a plaque. So it's a very important, if you're interested now, to go ahead and give me a call. We'll get you a pledge form and we'll sign you up and get you going.
Well, just all the former Mules out there, their involvement, their participation, their support is very important to our program. We have some different activities to have them get involved, like the golf tournament that we do in the summer and so forth. But that's something we're trying to build the tradition. We're trying to bring back some of the tradition that was here. We're trying to go past what's been done in terms of the football program here with some lofty goals. And you don't do any of that without great support and both financial and just support in general. And a lot of it starts with the alums. It starts with their financial support, them coming back to be involved with the program, taking pride in being a former Mule, all those kinds of things. So, we really feel good about it. Every time one of those former Mules comes back, we love it. We love it when they come here and just hang around the office, be around the players, whatever. So we appreciate what's been done so far, and just want to encourage more involvement as time goes.
The Mules for Life is an opportunity for former football players to give back to a program that they once represented. And one thing that we're allowing them the opportunity to do is to put their name on a locker plaque. So outside of the locker associated with their number that they wore, will have their name. And for $5,000, it can be pledged over a 5-year period, or one lump sum of $5,000 can have their name permanently inscripted on a locker plaque outside of the locker.
The opportunity that we have collectively as a community, as an institution, and as an alumni base to really engender what it means for students to be successful is right at our doorstep. And as we continue to have conversations with the interested stakeholders to really carry out the vision that Dr. Ambrose has laid out for us, which is to graduate students at a higher rate than what we've done, with a lower cost of debt to them, and get them employed, is something that really resonates with these projects that we're doing. And so we're intently focused in on making sure that we provide the access for our students to come. We provide the resources and the programs for them to be successful, and then we celebrate with them as they go out into their local communities and make a difference.
If you would like to contribute to the Mules for Life fundraising project through the Locker Project or other naming opportunities, information is available on the football page at ucmathletics.com or by calling Ryan Bowie at 660-543-8000. Coming up next on Sports Page, we'll take a look back at how Central Missouri's fall sports teams performed this past week, and we'll visit with Jennies volleyball coach Flip Piontek. All of that's on the way when Sports Page continues right after this.
We're getting ready to film a fictional trial. A young defendant is accused of shooting an innocent woman during a robbery that goes out of control. We're using this trial to explore how brain scanning technology is giving scientists detailed views of the brains of the people involved in the justice system. Defendant, witnesses, jurors, even the judge. I'll be getting my brain scanned too to see if I can be caught in a lie. You want to find out if I did?
I do.
The idea is to explore how this deepening understanding of how our brains work may change how trials like this are conducted in the future. And this new brain science may even change how we think about what we mean by justice.
All right. Court is prepared to impose sentence.
I'm Alan Alda. I'll see you in court.
You're watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
And once again, thanks for watching Sports Page right here on KMOS-TV. Coming up in just a moment, we'll visit with Jennies volleyball coach Flip Piontek. But first, let's take a look at how the Mules and Jennies performed this past week. And the sports season is now off and running for UCN. The 11th ranked Jennies soccer team headed north to face some tough regional competition last weekend. On Friday, the Gens battled Winona State to a scoreless draw in double OT. On Sunday, the Gens faced 6th ranked Minnesota State in Mankato and fell by a score of 3-0. The 15th ranked Mules golf team took 4th place out of 13 teams at the Nebraska Kearney Invitational this past Monday and Tuesday. That was in Axtell, Nebraska. Travis Mays shot 2 over par for the 54-hole event. He led the Mules, tying for 7th place. The UCM cross-country team opened their season last Friday at the SBU Twilight Run in Bolivar. The Mules won the event with Adam Treadway finishing in 2nd place. The Jennies did not enter a full team. Haley Russell led the way with a 19th place finish. The Jennies volleyball program is qualified for 30 straight NCAA tournaments, and the quest for number 31 is off to a good start as the Gens went 4-0 in San Antonio to open the 2013 season. Joining us now to talk things over is head coach Flip Piontek. Coach Flip, welcome back to the show.
John, thank you for having me.
Well, senior leadership has always been a key ingredient to this success. We talk about 30 straight NCAA tournaments, and I don't remember a Jennies team in my half of that 30 years that hasn't had great senior leadership. And you've got it. You've got 2 seniors that are 3-time All-League selections heading into their senior year, and your setter, Julia Bates, and of course your hitter, Taylor Goodness.
Yeah, and really, you know, when you construct a team, you really don't want just 2 seniors and a bunch of younger there's just no middle transition. I got 1 junior, and Sarah just plays a little bit for us. So there really is a kind of a gap between the seniors and the underclassmen. And if it wasn't for the strength of those 2 seniors, I think we would have had a little more trouble in San Antonio.
And those 2 seniors have been playing since they were freshmen, and now seniors and leaders. Speaking of players that have played since freshmen, we kind of skipped to 2 sophomores who are kind of next in line for you. All-league honors last year for your outside hitter, Carly Soika, and libero, Annie Riley. Experienced players, even though they're sophomores.
You know, as a coach, you're looking at a quantity of competition or a quantity of touches or a quantity of games, whatever you want to say, that turns your freshmen into experienced players. And both, because Carly and Annie were on the court for every single play last year, it really puts them beyond that, what you would quote, sophomore year. And both of those 2 players played for terrific volleyball clubs in the Kansas City area, so their experience level coming in was very, very strong. And so that experience helps this year for I have 2 true freshmen starting from St. Louis and the club that they played on, and their high school experiences were so good that, although scary, it allows you to kind of put them out there and say, okay, let's go play.
And we talk about the 30 straight NCAA tournaments. It's always the senior leadership I mentioned, having that key group of seniors. But also another key cog in this is you've always had a couple freshmen step in that just kind of wow people. Wow, is this going to be a great player? And you've got 3 of them, really 2 true freshmen and a redshirt freshman that are off to terrific starts.
They are. And Haley, our redshirt freshman from Nixa, she just works so hard. And there, sometimes you have players who are hard workers, but their results just don't quite show up. But for Haley, her hard work all last fall when she was recovering from her knee injury, and then this spring when she got lots of practice time this spring. So when you throw them out there the first time, you you have a sense of how they should do, but she just did so well this past week. And she made the all-tournament team in San Antonio. So as a freshman, that was really good for her to kind of see how the hard work pays off. It's also kind of an inspiration for the other freshmen to show them that, well, if they kind of work that hard, they'll be there too, because they both played very well. My 2 with Maddie Jones from St. Louis and Becca Blaze, they both did very, very well this week. And 4 really, really true freshmen.
4-0 this weekend, 3-0 wins in all 4 matches, 4 D2 wins on the road in San Antonio. Overall, your impression of your team down there?
Of my team, I was very happy with the willingness of our team to compete. First, in general, sometimes when you put them out there, sometimes they're tentative. And I was very impressed by the things that we'd done in practice that prepared them to compete. The first tournament of the season, you're so tired of playing yourselves in practice that you're really waiting for them to see how they'll react against other teams. And they did great down there. And then not only the willingness to compete, but the effort that they put forth to do that. Particularly on Friday, the 2 teams that we played on Friday were struggling teams. Western New Mexico, they put 3 different lineups out there in 3 different games and had different setters and different hitters, and it was very difficult to get a flow for the game because it was so disjointed. Every time they rotated, they were subbing new people in, and it was hard to get it. But the effort that the kids put forth to be able to compete in that kind of a strange, it really was almost like a scrimmage environment, not a competition environment, was really, really well. And then that carried over to Saturday, because the 2 teams we played on Saturday, Texas women's, they were 23-8 last year, and Adams State, they were 24-6 last year. So they were quality teams, and what happened on Friday, that effort and willingness to compete really pushed them past those 2 teams on Saturday.
And there you see the 2 wins, Western New Mexico and Minnesota Crookston on Friday. You mentioned Saturday, Texas women's, the opponent in San Antonio. Haley Thompson, redshirt freshman, 15 kills there, and then you close it out in a big way. You're ranked 8th in the country as of last week. You're taking on number 23, Adams State. You stayed perfect. The thing that jumped out of the stat sheet to me as I went back and looked at this 3-0 match flip, 418 was your hitting percentage.
That's a team, yeah.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Well, that person you had up there, Taylor, with 13 kills. Taylor, when she hits the ball, the play's over,
right.
Okay? In the match Friday night against Minnesota Crookston, she had 22 swings. And 18 times she hit it, the play was over. 10 of them were kills, 8 of them were errors. I mean, the play is going to be over most of the time when she hits it. And so when she gets the 13 kills like she did in that match against Adams State, she was very difficult. When she hits that well, the other teams have to key on her so much that it opens up other hitters to have success. And she hits it so hard that she really draws the attention that opens up the rest of the offense.
And Taylor was outstanding. You saw that on the stat monitor. But also Julia Bates. Wow, she put up some great numbers. In that Crookston match, that 3-0 win Friday, 42 assists.
In 3 games, that's really hard.
That
it's really hard. Julia has, as a coach, you like watching players mature. And in her 5th year here as a senior, as a team captain, she's doing a terrific job.
Well, the Jennies back at it now in preparation for a whole bunch of home matches coming up. We're going to take a look at some of the footage from practice this week. And, usually you have maybe a match or 2 on the road, and then maybe you have a match or 2 at home.
Not in our conference.
No, not this year with the way things are. 4 matches took place on the road, and now 5 in a row at home. So it's good to get on Dr. Peggy Martin Court and get ready to play there, because they're going to play there for a few days.
It is. It's very good.
There you see some practice footage. When you came back from San Antonio, what was the biggest thing you're working on with the team?
If you're looking at this, what we're doing right now is working on the timing between our middle hitters and our setters in terms of, each of the individual hitters has a different speed. Maddie Jones, my new freshman, who's running right there, is is a much taller and slower player, but because she's tall, she's able to reach very, very high. Some of the other players running through this don't reach as high, and so the setters have to get a feel for each individual player. So this is just minor technique things that we're trying to do, trying to clean up things from the past weekend.
Well, and there's Caitlin Pankratz, your new full-time assistant coach back from Spring Hill, where she went to work with Coach Martin, and obviously a great player, probably one of the most popular student athletes in school history, and great to have her back. And then you've got Taylor Linnebach as well, formerly Taylor Kretschy, who is a great. You've got assistants that know what the program and what the head coach
and
expects.
very quickly the players figure out how intense those two coaches are. You know, as a coaching staff, there's a kind of a balance you have to have, and there's plenty of intensity from those two young women. so they take care of all the effort.
And again, we're watching some footage. The Jennies will be on this floor a whole bunch coming up. You know, last year was a grind it out, find a way to win type team. That's how I would have described it. They get down a lot.
Particularly toward the end of the season.
Flow back through and get a victory. I know it's only 4 matches in, but you've had a lot of practices. Do you see the identity of this team being shaped? And if so, what might it be?
Yes and no. You know, the identity evolves over the course of a year, and there are lots of ways to find identity. You know, like the coach from Western New Mexico, he obviously was still trying to find it. He was trying to put players out there to see what they could do. In reality, I put the exact same line out there for all 12 games that we played, because for me, and again, I'm kind of an older coach, if I'm going to be playing next to you, I want to be next to you as much as I possibly can. I don't want to put somebody else next to you, and as much as that hurts the development of some of the other players, that's what practice is for, and we do all those changes in practice. But once we get to the actual game, I want to have the players next to the people that they're going to compete with as much as I possibly can. So for us, that identity, you know, I talked to the freshmen on the way back. They're no longer freshmen anymore. We're pushing it a little bit maybe, but you know, they've got 12 games, 4 matches underneath of their belt right now, and now their expectations have changed just slightly from what they went in going into San Antonio.
Well, the stats are pretty good from San Antonio, so it's hard for me to say what are the strengths and weaknesses and tell them to you, because right now, stat-wise, everything's a strength. What do you think when you start to play some really good teams, not that Adams State and others weren't, what are the things that still have to get better with this Jennies team?
You know, what we practiced right there, the timing with our middle so we don't give away some free points. We also practiced yesterday, and we'll do it a little bit today, our blocking schemes in terms of how you identify. There's essentially you can block man-to-man or you can play a zone. And so for us, in previous years, we've kind of done a zone defense and just let the pieces fall as they may as the players on the other side try to find the holes in those zones. We're going to go a little bit more man-to-man this year and trying to identify specific hitters for specific blockers to cover. And when you do that, when the players make a mistake, and we made 1 or 2 of them this past weekend, the back row players are kind of trying to dive out of the way when there's no blocker there. So we worked on that a little bit yesterday too.
Well, here we go. We got 5 matches to talk about in under 2 minutes. First of all, 7 of the top 8 teams in the nation are from the Central Region. We're going to play a lot of region teams this coming weekend, so get ready. The volleyball doesn't get any better at the D2 level than right here. Thursday night, 7 o'clock. You see it right there, Winona State. Home match to get it started.
Home match to get started and a regional match for us. They're from the Northern Sun, and, you know, for them, they're trying to make their way in the Northern Sun. The MIA is hard. Theirs is just as hard, so it'll be a great match.
And you know I sound like an administrator. That's a home match because there aren't other matches going on in the Peggy Martin Challenge, which we'll get to. That's a standalone, Thursday night, 7. Come on out. We'll have the video board popping and the music and everything else. Then we get into the Peggy Martin Challenge Friday and Saturday. Action going on simultaneously across the gym. So you're just playing volleyball, not anything else.
I just say, if you walk into the gym and there's not a volleyball on the air, it'll be amazing because they're just quality competition all day, Friday and Saturday.
And sports fans of UCM, right there, get out of work a little early on Friday. There's your lunch, Minnesota Moorhead at noon. That's Saturday, I beg your pardon. That's noon Saturday, 6 o'clock on Saturday night against Colorado Springs. I skipped over Friday. McKendree at 1 o'clock on Friday, 7 o'clock Ferris State on Friday. So 1 and 7 Friday, noon and 6 on Saturday. And that 6 o'clock match to finish it off is interesting. Chrissy Elders, the head coach of Colorado Springs, your longtime assistant, went to a couple of Elite Eights together. So that'll be interesting. First of all, she's going to know everything you're going to want to do.
She'll learn. Yeah, but it's not like I won't know what she's going to try and do either. Right. And she had a great weekend. She went down to West Texas this weekend and went 3-1 and only lost to West Texas and played them very well. They lost 25-22, 3 games against them. That's a pretty good team, so she'll be just fine.
So there's, 5 matches for you right there. The 1 on Thursday night, the 2 Friday, the 2 Saturday. And then, oh, by the way, we get rolling with the conference play. Tuesday night at 7, Missouri Southern comes to the multi-purpose building, and right now Nebraska Kearney's ranked 3rd, Washburn's ranked 6th. The region's tough, so's the league, and we get it going Tuesday night at 7.
And as much as I want to say I'm ready for that, I have not even looked at Missouri Southern right yet.
You got 5 matches ahead of that.
I got 5 matches, and the 2 region matches with Crookston and Winona. Those are important matches for us. McHenry will count as a region match because they're from Illinois. So there's a bunch of regional matches this weekend that not more important than Missouri Southern, but first. And so we'll take care of those first.
Peggy Martin Challenge. Come to the multi-flips. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having us here.
In just a moment on Sports Page, we'll bring you the sights and sounds of the kickoff event to the year for UCM Athletics, the 13th annual Celebrating Central Missouri Athletic Auction and Dinner. That's next here on KMOS-TV.
Genealogy Roadshow is the series around sort of the fabric of America, and that we explore the family histories of many people. They come onto the show with a family story, and we either prove or disprove it.
No one related to him, but just can't really prove it.
We use history and science to help solve genealogy questions. We don't just reveal your family history, we put everything in context.
You can kind of see here the name Burke, right? So that's your grandfather.
There's a credibility and an authenticity to it.
We've gone back a ways on this.
The evolution of DNA has been very helpful for our genealogists.
That Samuel is the Samuel of your family.
Oh my goodness! Anything that promotes genealogy and people finding their family history, I'm excited about because I want everyone to be interested.
That was amazing.
So exciting.
There's the connection.
It is the mystery of it. So that means Hatcher's is the Queen's bookstore.
It's the Royal Bookstore?
It is the Royal Bookstore. It's finding out some good, juicy stuff. Nancy and Thomas are ultimately arrested for murder.
Oh my gosh.
I hope viewers take away an interest in genealogy and knowing that they can find their family history and knowing that everyone has a story to share.
This is like years of research right at it.
That's what I love about it.
Stay tuned to KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
Well, the Celebrating Central Missouri Athletic Auction is our primary fundraiser for our 17 athletic programs here, the Mules and Jennies, and it's a great way to kick off a new school year as well. It's a way for our fans to get together, celebrate a new season, a new school year at the University of Central Missouri, and also raise some key funds for our sports programs. Well, you know, we started this event in 2001. At that time, there were some budget cuts, and we needed to find a way to raise some funds to help fill in the gap where those funds had been in the past. And so we started it for that reason, and we just continued it. And you know, the way we explain it to people is the auction helps our coaches take that one extra recruiting trip, or be able to buy a safer bus or rent a safer bus to travel down the roads, or maybe replace their uniforms a year earlier than planned. We feel like the event is really just a difference maker. Other schools in our league have auctions. Some of them have very good auctions, but I don't think any of them have been able to duplicate the success of this event. So we feel like it's kind of the difference maker maybe between us and some of the other athletic programs in the MIAA.
Well, you know, it's a great event to kick off the school year for the athletic program and for the university. It's an opportunity for us to raise funds to help support our 17 teams, to get them up and down the road, to keep them as competitive as we have been in the past. And so it's a fun way to start, and we're looking for an exciting evening. You know, tonight is a tremendous night. You know, we once again have got over 1,000 people here. We'll raise a lot of great funds for the program, and have a lot of great friends and supporters of the athletic program here in attendance.
Well, it was a great night. You know, gosh, what a great crowd, and I hope a lot of people spend a lot of money, because certainly it's very important for all of our programs, not just basketball. And another great job by all of our people, and you're already looking forward to next year. Well, for me, it's an opportunity to see a lot of Mules and Jennies fans, kind of a kickoff for the year. And obviously it's a way for us to make money and support all of our programs. So, you know, for me, it's a huge event. It's a great night. Everybody has a great time, and you know, the Nigro brothers do a great job. So it's really a fun night, but it's certainly very important for our athletic program.
Well, I think it's a great kickoff to the new school year. The athletic season gives us a chance to have a lot of our fans come in, our businesses come in, and just let them socialize with the athletic department and look at some great items we have for bidding, and get off to a great start financially, and just really kickstart this thing off to a good year. Well, our athletic auction's always been successful. The businesses support it really well. They did again this year. I know the people who came to the auction had a great time, got some great bids in on some great items, got a chance to get some nice items at a reduced cost, but it helps the athletic department, and it helped us get off to a great start for the brand new school year, and also gave them kind of a taste of what's to come for this year.
From 5:30 to 7:45, we had a silent auction. We had about 750 items in the silent auction, everything from sports memorabilia to UCM gear to artwork to household items. Really something for everyone in those 750 items. About 6:30, Sodexo had a fantastic meal for the folks here in attendance, and then at 8 o'clock we started our live auction with 43 items. Again, vacations around the world, exclusive golf trips, suites at Mizzou games and St. Louis Rams games, throw out the first pitch at a Royals game, be a part of the coin toss for the Chiefs and Giants, just a whole bunch of varying items to really draw and pique everyone's interest. And the Nigro brothers helped us with that, the Hall of Famers and UCM Distinguished Alumni Award winners. So once again, a wonderful event. We had 1,000 people in attendance, so once again our largest crowd, almost 800 items, and it was a wonderful way to raise funds in support of our 17 programs and over 500 student athletes. UCM Athletics netted approximately $175,000 in this year's auction. Officially, 1,127 UCM fans and friends attended the event on August 16th, featuring over 750 items. UCM Athletics thanks all of you who attended and donated items in support of our 17 programs and 500-plus student athletes. And we'll do it again next year with celebrating Central Missouri Athletics 14. In just a moment, we'll tell you where all the Mules and Jennies are competing this coming weekend as Sports Page rolls on after this timeout.
You are in at the beginning of something amazing.
Oh, this is getting rather fun, isn't it?
She can dream of having a different life.
The President of the United States.
PBS programs were nominated for a total of 32 Daytime Emmys. Our shows open new worlds and new possibilities for everyone. And you make them possible with your support. Watch these outstanding programs at pbs.org/Emmys.
You're watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
For one final time this week, welcome back to Sports Page. Before we put the finishing touches on this season opening show, let's run down our upcoming schedule of events so you know where to follow the Mules and Jennies. And the Mules football team will head to Maryville this Saturday to take on the number 3 team in the nation, Northwest Missouri State. Kickoff set for 6. We'll have the broadcast on 1450 AM, 98.5 FM, via the internet at warrensburgradio.com. That gets underway at 4:40 p.m. from Bearcat Stadium in Maryville on Saturday. In other MIAA games this week, Nebraska Kearney is at Emporia State. That's at 6 o'clock Thursday night. On Saturday, Southern is at Northeastern State in the MIAA TV game of the week. That's a 2:30 kick. In non-conference action, Grambling takes on Lincoln at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Also in non-league action, Missouri S&T is at 6th-ranked Missouri Western. 16th-ranked Pitt State's at Central Oklahoma. Fort Hays State's at Washburn. And Lindenwood is at SBU. The 7th-ranked Jennies volleyball team opens the home portion of their schedule Thursday night, hosting Winona State at 7 at the Multi. Friday, the Gens open the Peggy Martin Challenge. The Jennies will play McKendree Friday at 1. Friday night, the Jennies will face Ferris State at 7. On Saturday, the Jennies will take on Minnesota Moorhead at noon. Saturday evening, the Jennies will close out their portion of the Peggy Martin Challenge as they host Colorado Springs at 6 p.m. Next Tuesday night, the Jennies open conference play hosting Southern at 7 o'clock at Dr. Peggy Martin Court at the Multi. The number 24 ranked Jennies soccer team will open the home portion of their schedule Thursday night, hosting the University of Mary. That's at 7 o'clock at the South Recreation Complex in Warrensburg. Saturday, the Jennies will host Minot State in another in-region match. That's at 1 o'clock. The 15th ranked Mules golf team will take part of the Brickyard Invitational Monday and Tuesday in Indianapolis, Indiana. The Jennies golf team will open their second season of competition next Monday and Tuesday as they head to Tulsa, Oklahoma for the Northeastern State Invitational. And the UCM cross-country teams will host the UCM Mule Run Saturday morning at Keth Memorial Golf Course at Pirtle Springs on the UCM campus in Warrensburg. The women's college race will take place at 9:25 a.m. The men's college race will follow at 10:15 a.m. And with that, we wrap up this season opening edition of the Central Missouri Sports Page. Hope you enjoyed the show and the new look to Sports Page, and we invite you to tune in again next week to learn more on the Mules and Jennies. In the meantime, visit UCMathletics.com to stay up to date on UCM sports. Until next week, for our entire crew, this is Sean Jones saying thanks for watching the Central Missouri Sports Page here on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. Sports Page is provided by First Central Bank, full-service banking from 6 locations in Warrensburg, Holden, Higginsville, and Odessa. More information is available on their Facebook page or at the website firstcentral.net. Member FDIC. And by Union Station, Crossroads to Technology, a one-stop shopping source for technology needs. Campus-compatible computers, software for Mac and PCs, and much more. Located on campus on the lower floor of the Elliott Union in Warrensburg. Union Station, Crossroads to Technology. And promotional support for Sports Page is provided by 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics.